Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So I'm working on the center of the first big pink flower in this pass here. I have, I believe, one more session after this one, so like I said, I probably won't be finished this first flower in September, but I'm thinking by end of October I should have the flowers that are in this pass done. And I'll probably be working into the peacock's tail. All right, so you can see this is a fairly confetti heavy session, or section I should say. It's quite a lot of parked threads here. So this whole sort of hollow here is the center. There's sort of here the orange, there's a bit more dark pink around it, and so I'm just kind of growing out from the edges of this little convex curve here, if you want to get all fancy and technical about it. So I was hoping to reach 84% by the end of September, but I don't think that's going to happen. If it does, I will be pleasantly surprised, but looking at where I am now, I doubt that, because that's almost 3,000 more stitches. If I do, then that would be nice. But don't make any bets or hold your breath. It is a lovely day today. So I did finally dig my Fitbit out. Well, technically my son's, but he never uses it, so I guess it's mine now. It's been a few weeks, and I walk 3 to 4 kilometers worth of steps a day on when I'm working. Like I say, I do have a chair. I can sit down, but for most of the day, I am not. Lots of getting up to get files, put files back, take patients to examination rooms, that kind of thing. So, but that's okay. I don't mind. I like it. It's a good amount of busy where I don't feel overwhelmed, but I don't really run out of stuff to do either generally. Like I say, I don't really have time to get bored, which is nice. That is how I prefer things. Makes the day go quick. I'm not quite so tired now. It took a bit of adjustment after not having worked outside the home for a while to working full days, but I'm getting more used to it, because those couple of days a week when I had to work full days, I'd come home totally wiped out. But I actually had to go to bed early the first couple of weeks because I was that tired, but I'm adjusting, so it is all good. So like I said before, it was offered to me as a temporary position, but if they want to keep me on after that, I will accept, because it's kind of exactly what I was looking for. I was actually thinking of looking more seriously, and then they asked me if I wanted this job, and this is kind of perfect. Everything else I see requires a lot more hours, or evenings, weekends, which I really don't want to do, or just stuff that I technically could do but isn't really a good fit. So I'm quite happy. I was thinking if I managed to reach 256,900, that would mean I have exactly 50,000 left to do. That may be possible, as that is a little bit less than the 84%. That's about under 2,000. So 2,000 is more likely than 3, but like I said, we will see. I have passed 6,000 for the month, which is, like I say, my new estimate, given now that I'm working, I don't have quite as much time to stitch. Kiddo is going on his first work trip with his dad. First official one. He often went with him before when it didn't interfere with school. He loves hanging out with his dad, and he enjoyed learning stuff and being his assistant even though he wasn't getting paid then, but now he is. He has been, his appetite has increased and stuff because I said you're using your brain a lot right now. Over the summer, you didn't really have to. He had sort of one last summer after high school. Said you're gaming and stuff. But now you're learning and working, and that's, that uses a lot of energy to use your brain. There was, one of my friends said actually that one of her kids, they discovered that he needed to eat protein with his breakfast. If he just had a bowl of cereal, he had a really hard time. And the doctor said, you're probably, his brain is starving because he's using it so much with learning. And that takes a lot of protein. So they started making him eggs and stuff for breakfast on school days. And they said that his focus and everything improved quite a lot. Because I remember those days, you'd be sitting at your desk studying and think, why am I so tired? But you may not be running a marathon, but your brain is. So, as you can see, the center of the flower kind of grows in circles out from here. So I'm just sort of following this curve. I'll probably work on the center and what's below it sort of at the same time. At least that's my current plan, but as I usually say, sometimes I change it as I go. We will see what I decide to do. Oh dear, that is not going to work. That's better. I went clothes shopping to get a few more things that are work appropriate, and my gosh, our local mall is a ghost town. Half the shops are closed, and I found it was like either it was black dress pants, jeans, or yoga pants, and nothing else. Like I kind of wanted maybe some khakis or like a little more casual, pardon me, like cargo pants or whatever. Couldn't find them anywhere. If I really want them, I'd have to order online, which I don't really want to do because like they do have free returns and stuff for a lot of these places, but you never know how something's going to look until you actually wear it. And I don't like not being able to try things on. I went thrifting too, and one of the thrift stores was renovating and there were no change rooms. And I'm like, well, you know, what am I supposed to do? Luckily, I didn't find any pants, so I found some tops, so I just pulled them on over my t-shirt to see how they looked. Good enough. I then somebody saw me messing with hangers and thought I worked there. I don't know why. I always give off I work here energy, but everywhere I go, people assume I work there. The grocery store, Walmart, Canadian Tire. Oh. My husband too. And it's funny, like he said he will go in like his roughest working in the garage clothes, ripped pants and oil stains all over. paint splatters and everything, and people still think he works there. It's so funny. There's one who got like really ticked about it. He's like, oh, well, what, this is terrible service. And my husband's like, well, I don't work here, so why would I serve you? I've been out grocery shopping with my son and still have people think I'm working there. I'm like, the kid pushing the cart behind me is with me. Why would you think I'm on the job? And my kiddo is not wearing like a smock or whatever from the store, but people seem to always assume I work there. I say it's worse when I wear my old work jacket, but because it's red and black, but I said, like, even at Walmart, their color's blue. Like my sister said, I could understand Canadian Tire, red and black is their colors, but so sometimes when I go in there, I'll immediately take off my jacket when I get inside and stick it in the cart, so people are less likely to think I work there. If people are polite and I know where something is, I don't mind helping them, but if they get all rude, then that's not happening. I've had a lot of older ladies seem to think I work there and at Walmart and stuff, and I've been there so many times that I do often know where things are, so I don't mind telling you, oh, I think that's aisle 3. As long as they haven't changed it, because that's always frustrating, right? When you finally know the layout of the store where everything is and then they change it again. I was so annoyed. Superstore, the grocery I shop at the most, they added another aisle, and that meant everything moved over half an aisle. So stuff that used to be on the right ended up being on the left. Stuff that was on the left ended up being on the right of the next aisle. And it took me a while. It was really irritating because I kind of had a map in my head of where things are, and then they're all in the wrong place. Oh. I'm more used to it now, but it was pretty frustrating then when they first changed it. And sometimes where they put stuff doesn't make any sense. My husband likes to eat the beans and the tomato sauce as a snack, right out of the can. But anyway, and I always have a hard time finding it. They'll have bean salad, kidney beans, garbanzo beans, whatever, in cans. And then the beans that are in tomato sauce are in a different aisle. I'm going, well, why wouldn't you be with the other beans? That doesn't make any sense. Ugh. Just like I remember one time, my kiddo was little and I needed Tylenol for him. And they had the infant Tylenol and like the toddler Tylenol. And then it jumped up to like the 13 plus Tylenol and the adult Tylenol. And like the age like 7 to 12 or whatever wasn't there. And it ended up being in a completely different aisle. And I'm just like, that makes no sense. Why wouldn't you have it all in a row from the pediatric Tylenol ranging in age all the way to the adult Tylenol? I mean, that's how I would do it. I think that's how most people would do it. That would seem to make the most sense, but I guess not. You know, and I had someone say, maybe they ran out of room. I'm thinking, okay, but again, why would you split up the order like that? In that case, put all the kids' Tylenol up to age 12 in the one spot and then put the adult Tylenol separately. I don't know. Very odd. Oh, neighbors using their leaf blower. But not for leaves. There's not many leaves yet. He's removing the dirt from his sidewalk, it looks like. The leaves are starting to turn here and starting to fall a little bit, but not yet. Which is wild because it came up in my Facebook memories that I think it was 2018, we had snow already, like a week ago. And right now, it's still almost shorts weather, depending on how tough you are. I say that, but then there's always some guy who's wearing shorts in -40 weather. Ugh. Every year, there's always at least one guy I will see out in shorts and flip-flops in the middle of like February when it's -35 and feels like -50 with the wind chill. Did you lose a bet? Gotta be careful or you're gonna lose some skin to frostbite or toes or something. Yikes. But anyway, saying that they're going out of town on a work trip, so my husband was gonna do the little radon pit in our house, but he said he's gonna do it after he gets back because he doesn't think there might not be enough time to do it before they have to go in a couple of days. So, and he said I don't want to make it worse, so you have to drill a hole in the foundation, put some gravel, and then it gets attached to an HVAC and gets sucked outside. And because it comes out of the ground, so he said, like, if I drill into the ground, I'd worry it would release more into the house. Don't want to do it till he can hook up the whole ventilation system to it at the same time. So, and well, I said when he's away, I don't really, it's worse in the basement, of course, because it's heavier. But I said when he's away, I don't really go in the basement very much. I tend to stay upstairs. We have 2 TVs. So I have the one upstairs that I stitch in front of because it's next to my, it's in my living room next to my big bay windows, so I get all the natural light. And then we have the one downstairs, which is the huge home theater system that he built. And but I generally don't use that when he's away. I just prefer to stay upstairs. I kind of stitch as late as I can, and then when the natural light is gone, I don't feel like moving, so I don't mind that the TV is smaller up here. The one downstairs is insane. It's like 80 inches or something. It's, yeah, or 70. I'm not sure, but it's bigger than I am tall. I'm 63 inches. No, I don't think it's 80. I think it was like 70 or something like that, but it was huge. That's what we spent our income tax refund on one year. But we got a really good deal because it was the last year's model. They were clearing it out, and it wasn't like it was a display model, because my husband says never buy a display model because they've been running usually 24/7 for months, and that's eaten a lot of life, especially because it's running continuously. Like they say, it won't die after a year, but with normal use. But with it running continuously, that wears it out quite quickly. So, they gave it to us for half price because it was like the last one of that model, and they wanted it out of the store so they could bring in the brand new model. So we said, we don't mind that it's last year's model. It's still a brand new TV. And my husband custom built a big, the entertainment unit and the sound system. We have the most amazing surround sound now. Well, he's an engineer, broadcast engineer, so he specializes in sound and broadcasting. So that took him months. They look very futuristic. It's pretty cool, too. And so we have speakers behind us, I think, on the sides. There's ones in the front. Like, it's all over the place. And they were watching Independence Day once. And I said I knew when the aliens showed up I was upstairs because all of the my cookie sheets started rattling in the drawer from all the bass. Said the only drawback is if you hear something gross, you have to hear it from all directions, and it's very nasty. He went soundproofing, a all of, even with the soundproofing, it did that, but it is somewhat soundproofed. He spent, oh, let's say 2 or 3 years on that room. He's pretty proud of it. Yeah, it was said, we don't really have to go to the theater anymore. Especially these days when you can, a lot of times, rent it, stream it for in-home viewing, like the day it's out in theaters. And I said, it's cheaper then too, because you only have to pay for the movie once and everyone can watch it. And I said, and the nice thing is too, you can pause it if you need a bathroom break. They give you like 48 hours after you start it to finish it, which is nice. We do go to the actual theater sometimes, but usually when my husband's coworker likes going. They don't have as good of a an entertainment room as we do, so sometimes we go with him, but on our own we just generally don't go at all. Well, plus, like I was saying in a previous video, you don't have to wait as long for things to come out on DVD anymore for home viewing, so sometimes we do that. I mean, there are so many things we want to watch, and never enough time. These days with streaming services, you will never run out. Oh dear. So this is the edge of the center, so I'll probably do that, work around what's here, and then kind of work the next sort of ring of color that radiates out around from it. And then after that, I'll probably go to the top and start another petal up there. So just following the colors, but that may not be until October. Holy cow, October already. Got 2 threads of this color going, but they kind of branch off and diverge, so no problem. That is why I attached more than one. My doctor keeps checking in I'm good with the job, but I said, yeah, I feel pretty settled in now. It's been about a month, and I'm happy with it. Yeah, there's a few long-time patients who said, oh, you must be new. I haven't seen you before. People say, oh, what do you do when they're away for a week? I said, oh, I don't mind. I cook all the foods they don't like. I watch all the movies they wouldn't want to watch. It's all good. I stretch out across the whole bed. Oh, that was my phone. I forgot to put it in Do Not Disturb. Oh, well. That's no good. That is off. I'll try to stitch for longer with y'all today. I know the last few sessions have been under an hour, and I know I've had a lot of feedback, people saying they prefer the longer ones. Things have just got in the way. Oh dear, there it goes again. Okay. Grab that and put that in do not disturb mode. So it's not dinging away and being annoying. Go. Alrighty. I was wondering if I was going to get any zeros in this area, but I guess not. I guess this color still continue. These colors still continue on in the next flower, and some of them are in the tail as well of the peacock. So yeah, there's not much of the blue part left of the tail, or blue and green parts. It's mostly the orangey brown parts that are left. So I was saying I was hoping that I would finish this pass by the end of the year. We'll see. Definitely won't finish the project by the end of the year. But I think I made that estimate to finish this pass before I went back to work, so that will affect things, of course. Alrighty. Oh, that's what I remembered I have to do. I have to call up my physio place. Schedule some more appointments. My neck is starting to give me the warning twinges. It's not locking up, but when I make certain movements, it's kind of a little bit of pain kind of warning me that it's threatening to. So that means I should go back for some more acupuncture and physio. I say I get usually 6 to 9 months of relief, and it's been about 6 months. Usually have about 4 or 5 sessions, sort of once a week, and then I'm good for months. Center of this flower gets quite dark. It was funny, my son, he updated his contact info on his phone, so he included a picture of himself and everything. So when he texted me today, and it gave me an option to update the info because it wanted me to use like his actual proper legal name and not the nickname that I have it under. And I'm just like, no, phone, I call my kid Bug, and you can't make me call him anything else. He's the only one who gets to decide if I'm not allowed to call him Bug anymore, but he said it doesn't bother him. So, because I did tell him when he was a teen, when he first started high school. I said, if it embarrasses you and you don't want me to call you that anymore, then I will stop it. Just let me know. But he said it doesn't bother him, so, because I know my sister had a nickname and she got very annoyed when my parents used it. But my kiddo doesn't mind, so. I said I would be very sad if I had to stop calling him Bug, but he's the only one who gets to decide. I don't get to call him that. That was a Reddit story I read. A guy was saying that he calls his daughter Goose because she was in the NICU when she was a baby. She was preemie, and they gave her that as a nickname because of Top Gun, and it stuck, and so they still call her that. And he said his girlfriend didn't like it and said that to call her by her proper legal name, and he basically told her, my daughter's the only one who gets to tell me I'm not allowed to call her Goose, and am I the jerk? Asking Reddit, because the girlfriend was saying he was, and of course the overwhelming consensus was no, you're not a jerk. If your daughter didn't want you to call her that anymore and you continue doing it, then yeah, but it's her nickname between the two of you and she still likes it, so no one else really gets a say. It's kind of funny. It's not like I picked out the nickname intentionally. It was just, he was so little and I was just like, oh, my little Bug, and it just stuck. So he's in my phone as his name and then Bug. Well, partly to differentiate him from his uncle who has the same first name. I know which one is which. Because my husband did that before a couple times. He called his brother when he was trying to call our son, and then, whoops, sorry, wrong one. And among his grandparents, they're known as Big and Little version. And so when my son turned 18, my cousin says, oh, I hope you won't mind that I'll probably call you Little Guy forever. And I said, well, they're known as Big and Little version. I said, no matter how big he gets, so I don't think that'll bother him. Oh, I went past 100 already. Nice. This is the very center here, and then there's more sort of darker pink surrounding it before you get back into the paler pink of the rest of the flower. At least this time when they go away, I'm not left eating. They had to go out of town unexpectedly. I guess it's not really, well, I guess it's his first official work trip. He went before, but he wasn't officially hired yet. But it was unexpected. A repair needed to be done that couldn't be done remotely, had to be done hands-on. And they had to go for like 3 days, and I said I'd made a huge pot of spaghetti sauce, intending to not have to cook for a few days, and then they went away. So I was eating spaghetti for lunch and dinner for the next almost 4 days by myself. And I said, oh, if I'd known, but of course it was unexpected. And I said, My husband said, yes, or I said, yeah, why do you think I didn't make spaghetti for such a long time? Because the exact same thing happened the last time I made spaghetti. You had to go to town unexpectedly, and I was stuck eating the whole thing myself. Oh. I find it's not really something that freezes well. Tomatoes separate and get watery when you freeze them. I don't like how the texture changes after you freeze it. I think this one is longer. It is. A lot of colors here, but still able to make some good progress. lot of practice, I'm pretty good at estimating how many stitches I will get out of a piece of thread. I figured it was going to run out right about now. Wow, it's actually cool enough the heat just came on. Yeah, I guess it is fall. If the leaves aren't brown yet. They are starting to turn. Well, one of the sure signs is when their pumpkin spice everything is showing up. I tried the Cheerios and nah, wasn't really to my taste. I guess when I think pumpkin spice, I imagine things actually tasting like pumpkins and the spice that go into pumpkin stuff, into pumpkin pie, and but it's not. It's just like allspice, cinnamon, cloves, and it's okay. Like, I ate them, but I said I wouldn't buy them again. They weren't really to my taste. I cannot have a pumpkin spice latte because I cannot drink milk. I mean, I guess I could try one with like oat milk or something, but whatever. Not really my thing. I don't drink coffee though. I gave that up a few years ago as it was hurting my stomach. My husband drinks decaf now. He gave up regular coffee at the same time as me. And he does drink it occasionally, irregular. He'll stop at Tim Hortons and have like when he's on the road, he'll have an actual coffee, not just a decaf coffee, but it's not like it used to be where that was part of the morning routine and he would drink it throughout the day. He quit that. Gave me a headache pretty bad for the first couple of days, even though I was only a 1 cup a day drinker. And then it was interesting because somebody was speculating that people say they get a headache from anesthesia, and they said it could be from that, but it could also be because you have to fast from midnight until your surgery generally, and so for a lot of people they're missing their coffee, and we do know caffeine withdrawal can give you a headache, so it could be that too. They no longer give you that stuff to drink, at least not when I had it. The first time I went surgery, they gave me this stuff to drink that's supposed to like coat your stomach. And, but the last couple of times I underwent, in general, they didn't give me that. So I don't know if it was just for me or whatever procedure I was having, or if they just don't do that anymore. It's been a while. Oh, sheesh, it's been over 10 years now since I had. Yeah, it's different too. The first time I underwent, I was okay. The second time I underwent, I was very, very nauseated when I woke up. I couldn't even keep water in. And so I told them that when I went for my third time. And so they said, okay, we will put an anti-nausea right into your IV cocktail. And that worked. I woke up just fine. And I said I couldn't go home till I got up and used the bathroom. And like about 15 minutes after I woke up from surgery, I was able to do that, so I was able to go home. So they said some people are waiting for quite a while. And we told them the same thing when our son went to have his wisdom teeth out, because he had it under general. And told them both my husband and I get very nauseated from anesthesia, from general anesthesia. So same thing, they gave him a anti-nausea right in his IV, and he was fine. Bit loopy, as you can expect, but he did really well. He came through it with flying colors. He was really nervous, and I told him that it's not a big deal. I said, and trust me, you can get your wisdom teeth taken out under local, which I did because that was before I'd ever gone under, and I had this fear of going under. But I do not recommend it. It was sensory hell. So after that, I said, next time, if you have a choice, just go under. So I did end up, as I said I might, doing all of this, and then I'll start filling that in until that's sort of rounded off, and then I'll probably come up and start working my way in the next sort of ring of color around the center. But that won't be during this session, I wouldn't imagine. Because we're coming on to an hour here. Coming on to 200. Woohoo. Still quite a lot of this color left. Over 1,200 stitches of it left. There's quite a bit in the peacock's tail feathers. just do that one too, since it's connected. Actually do the bottom of that right there for now. Squeak those last two stitches out of that remaining thread. Saying, gotta call for some physio appointments. Better call those sooner than later, because often they're booked up. Last time I called, I had to wait almost a month to get in, so if my neck is giving me warning signs of pain, good idea to call. Hopefully, I can get in before it gets really bad. Especially since I have less availability now that I'm working. I find sometimes too, the first session or two, it kind of hurts worse before it feels better. And that's especially the case the longer I delay it, so. I'm bad about spending money on my health. I always tell myself, oh, it's not that bad, and I put it off, but it's like, no, I really shouldn't do that. I really should take care of myself better. I see, okay. So there's a top one there that's pretty decent length too. So it really doesn't matter. In which case I will do this one here, and then I'll park this over. I could tie it off and park the other one over. It really doesn't matter. Either way would work. There. This one's a tiny bit closer, so that's why I'm parking this one. Started with a lot of threads parked, but as I'm coming to the end of this area here, a lot of these colors are being ended off as well. Okay. Colored that one in, but actually I haven't done it yet. Well, Actually, now that I think of it, maybe I will do it. So just about filled in this whole hollow here. I think I'll take a break pretty soon. Well past 200 now. Oh, I parked this one incorrectly. Yeah. I went to park the current strand and went, uh-oh, there's one already there. Something is not right. Okay, so I'll just hold that one out of my way along the back. There. Now I can use this one correctly. Oh, no. Oh, no, I actually stitched that one already. That's what happened. Haha, that's what I get for not paying close enough attention. It was correct, and I thought it wasn't. No, it was just I didn't color in my project or my pattern to match. My bad, it was correct. That's what happens when I park based on what's already. And this is why I don't skip, because that's when I start messing things up. I start skipping around and leaving spaces. That's when I miscount, and then it is harder to fix then. At least this, it was just parking, which I thought was incorrect, and not actually stitching. I did that before. I stitched something, thought it was incorrect, pulled it out, and then discovered, oh, it was correct. And I was not happy with myself because I had to redo it. I was not thrilled about that. I bet some of you saw what I was doing. No, girl, you're mixing it up. Speaking of my neck, it's starting to complain at me, so I'm gonna have to get up and move around a bit. Sitting in the one position is bothering me, so yeah, happy with how much progress I made today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you here next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.